Okay, I think we're live now. How's it
We
going,
are.
Mike Carlin?
It's a going. It's a going. It's Wednesday, so I always look forward to Wednesday because I know my week is it's really not half over yet because it's the start of Wednesday, but we're getting
Yeah,
close.
but it is hump day. It's hump day. The main bulk work week is we're approaching the halfway point on that. Weekend work is, I mean, I'm weird. Weekend work is fun for me.
Yeah,
There's less phone calls. There's less like the businessy stuff, and it's more like I enjoy like the stuff I enjoy,
but
spreadsheets, deep dive, P&L work, like the fun stuff.
it's a little more relaxed. And then I
It
kind of
is.
Monday and Tuesdays are tough. Like they're just
Oh,
it's catch up and like even like the installers or whatever, they've had a weekend of questions and problems or whatever. So it's just
yeah.
everybody's business. I think we see it in detail shops, we see it in our business. It's just Mondays and
Oh,
Tuesdays
yeah.
to catch up. So
Yeah, they are. They are. I mean, Monday for us is staff meetings. Obviously we have IGLs as well. And so it's what we like to do in those staff meetings. I know this is off subject and we'll jump on that a little bit, but when we talk about Monday, it's setting our week. It's setting our goal for the week. It's talking about tasks we want to get done. It's talking about tasks that did or didn't get done from the week before. So we take Monday as like our launch point, and then it's all week long. That's all we're focused on is what we can do in 7 days, and that's kind of our action items.
yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. So
So our topic for the day, we want to do this. This is our weekly live. We want to do this to just kind of be able to connect with our people on a more consistent basis. But our topic is overcoming adversity. Owning businesses or running business, even if you're working for someone, you're going to face some adversity and challenges. And I think that you always look at other people and you're like, man, they got it so easy, but you really don't know what they're going through, and you don't know the over adversity that they've had to overcome to get to where they are, even on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that, and Mike, kind of how you face challenges and overcome, and some of the things that you do to do that, and then I'll speak to that as well. But just putting it out there for the detailers to understand that, hey, we're all fighting together, and we are all dealing with a lot of the same issues. And let's talk about those.
yeah, we can really speak of it from like two levels because we both have detail shops, so we kind of experience that,
Mhm.
and really three levels. We have our personal life, our family, our friends,
Yeah.
whatever, and then we have our businesses, and then we have the other part of servicing our detailers, which this last week we actually had some, or the last couple of weeks we had to overcome some adversity as IGL coatings, and that was simply because
Mhm.
an order that we had ordered a while back, and then it was coming into the port, and then we had to divert it from the port onto a truck, and we paid all this extra money to get it from the container to a 24-hour delivery, and then it took a week to deliver it to
That
us.
was 24 to 96, or probably even longer than that
So,
delivery.
and during that time, I think about the detail shops that were reaching out. I mean, because they needed some of the product, and we,
Mhm.
I think as a whole, as IGL Coatings, we have such a great network. We have such a great family. We
Mhm.
saw, people reaching out through IGL North America, IGL Kenzo forums, whatever, and they're like, "Hey, does anybody have this? Does anybody have that?" You and I were delivering stuff from our personal stock that we had at our shops, and that's just
Well,
how we help overcome that adversity. It was an adversity we had, but it was also an adversity that the detailers themselves were going through. So it's
yeah.
unique.
Right. And so essentially, our installers' problems became our problems, and we take that weight on.
Mhm.
That's not something that we shy from. Was it ideal? Absolutely not. Would we have changed it in a heartbeat if we could have? Absolutely. The adversity was we couldn't get the shipment in time, and there was huge delays. But the real adversity was hearing our detailers that were struggling to have the products that they need on jobs they had sold. So we go into action mode and say, how can we solve this problem? Do we have, our own personal stock that we sent out? I mean, both you and I did. I met a detailer yesterday out on the Florida line just to get them product because it just landed yesterday morning and we could, shipping wasn't an option. So there was lots of those things that happened behind the scenes, but that's the stuff we welcome with open arms. And I think that, when I think about IGL and I think about, you and I as the owners, the things that we do different are just that, is whatever the challenge is and whatever challenge you face, we want to be there with you. And we don't, this isn't a like, well, we'll see what we can do and help. Like anything that we can do to help, that's our priority,
Yeah, and we're always open to challenges, right? So that's kind of just who we are. Sometimes it's an unwanted challenge, but we don't ever like to give up, right? That's our mindset. So
that's right. So some are self-imposed challenges and some are unexpected.
Yeah.
We put ourselves in challenging situations, and I think that the reason what we enjoy that aspect of it, but it also hones your skills on overcoming it. If we're solving problems like how are we going to do a 10-mile run, okay, in a morning, or how are we going to do a 75 hard challenge, like, and we solve those problems, we're only just getting better at solving problems. Yes, it's got some physical benefits, and yes, it's got some mental clarity, but reality is you're just learning how to solve problems better. Because I can assure you, when you start a challenge in itself, like a workout challenge or an eating challenge, like you got adversity. There's going to be a pizza come across the plate at some point, and you got to say no.
And I always think of my wife's favorite saying, and I think Les Brown. I know Les Brown is. I don't know if he created the saying, but he talks about if you do in life what is easy, life will be hard, and if you do hard, life will be easy. And that's kind of what adversity sets you up for. Is if you are willing to take on that challenge, now that 10-mile run is kind of a piece of cake. It's not really an adversity anymore, right? Because
it's not. All right.
3, 4, 5, 6 times. And I think that's what we have to learn as businessmen and women in our detail shops or whatever business you're in, or your family life, whatever it is, the adversity that you take on. It's just that challenge is like setting you up for the next challenge that you have. You're building yourself. You're building the technique of overcoming. So it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. 90% of the challenge is up here.
Yeah.
All right, and that's cliche, right? Like everybody's like, well, it's all in your head. No, I really can't pay my power bill this month. Okay, like that's a real challenge, right? People are facing right now financial crunch. The problems in your head are much worse than the problems that exist. Yeah. If you picked up the phone and called Alabama Power and said, I don't have it this week, but I will pay this next week, then you face that challenge in the face. You've solved the problem. You moved on. But when you sit there all day and you think, how am I going to come up with this, my rent or my power bill money? How am I going to pay for these? Like you are making this problem much worse than it is because you're overthinking it. And instead, just do the action. Go work towards solving the problem instead of working towards thinking about the problem.
And I think we're surrounded just like we're surrounded by a bunch of problems. We're surrounded by a bunch of solutions, right?
Absolutely.
In your case, pick up the phone and call Alabama. But then there's other things like, what do we have in our life that we don't need? What are we spending on that?
What can we eliminate? What can we get rid of?
Right. To not put us into them situations. I mean, and we're all guilty of it. Like we buy something we really don't need, but we want it. And, in most ways, in most part, we deserve stuff like that. But when times get tough, you do what you got to do. Right. And I think about the adversity that we just had for the detailers. Just kind of, we're talking about overcoming. One is to get through it. But then the next thing is, how are we going to react for the next? What are we going to put in place?
How do we fix it?
Why don't you tell kind of what we've done from IGL side to try to help in the future to eliminate or make this very seldom that we're going to see a problem like that.
Yeah. Reduce it down to, just the like almost impossible to happen again. There are people in your life that have a problem for every solution. Okay. And those are the people that, if you're one of those people that find a problem in every solution, you really need to take a look and say, what why am I thinking that? If you have those people in your life, you need to eliminate that input into use, because there's a problem for every solution, but you need to flip that and say there's a solution to every problem.
Right.
And anytime I'm going at anything, I'm not thinking about the ways it won't work. I do not care about the 5 million reasons it won't work. If there is one chance that I can make this happen, that's I'm hyper focused on that piece.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, but again, I think we're all cut from a different cloth in that, and some people, they struggle to find that. And so, just knowing people like, Mike, myself, and I noticed Billy Smith jumped in the comments there. Reaching out to people that can help you in those times of needs and stuff. That's a solid answer too.
Right. So, and then from IGL side of this last week, we put some things in place for the future, to help you
Absolutely.
reduce this, and I think that's going to help the installers a lot. And again, we put a solution to the problem, and that may be having product come in more often, instead of, quarterly or every 3 months or whatever
At
year.
yes,
So
putting consistency in our ordering process, so that way products are coming more often. I mean, think about think about this, guys. We're ordering from our manufacturing facility that's overseas, and we're having to, we're subjected to anything that happens, all the way in another country to get it here. So we have to forecast adversity and say, did we know there was going to be a strike? No. Did we know there was going to be 15 hurricanes? No. Did we know that shipping delays was going to be 5 months instead of 2 months? No. So we have to think about those things, and then put things in place that would eliminate that from affecting our product on the shelf, because that doesn't matter to our installers. Like that, our installers, they don't care. They're selling jobs because rents do, and Kenzo or Elixir or whatever is the solution to their problem. So we got to make sure we have that solution on the shelf.
that's right. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. I mean,
it is.
and it's I know it's at a good timing, because we talk to a lot of installers every day, and everybody's kind of going through the same deal. Some shops are still busy, but I think about, well, you can turn this into even the poor people in South in Florida, in South Carolina, North Carolina, them areas. I mean, I'm sure that this is quite the adversity that they're challenging, not just for their own lives, but for their businesses, for their families, whatever it may be. And so I just all my prayers and good vibes go out to them people, because in the end, I talked to a few of them the other day. It was their biggest, what their biggest fear was, is it wasn't necessarily losing their life, it was losing everything that they've worked hard for.
Sure.
These are detailers down south, and they're just like, I've worked 20 years for this, and I'm close to where this is coming through, and I might lose everything, but I think that, just like what you're saying, is there's always people in your life that maybe went through adversity. I was able to share my story of going from having everything to not having everything, and then where I am today, right?
Sure.
We have new beginnings. When adversity happens and it takes something away, to me, I look at it as a new beginning. And new beginnings, we can rewrite the story, right? Like there's little things that we would have took out of our past that now we can write a new story going forward and be successful. So
yeah, and that's what I was thinking. God forbid, anybody loses everything, right? But there's a cleansing effect to that. And what would you do different in your business if you had to if you had a clean slate and you said start over today? Do you think you would do things different or better?
100%. You
So,
know,
yeah, so the time to get you from where you were to where you are now is reduced exponentially because you have the knowledge and the background to get yourself back there again. And like I said, I'm not putting that on anybody. I don't.
no,
It's a terrible situation, and I'm sure not making light of that. But the thing is we all face the fear of losing everything on a daily basis. Like there's anything could happen to anyone at any time, and it's like, okay, we all can we got ourselves here.
yeah,
This wasn't blind luck that put you and I on this call together right now. This
right.
was a lot of effort focused, and so I think that people, detailers, need to acknowledge that what got them where they are will get them back again in the case of something
Yeah,
catastrophic.
we're strong people, right? Like,
Hmm.
and
People
that's,
have the
that's
will to survive.
that's my whole point out there is like any situation we go through sucks, and
Hmm.
I have full belief that everyone out there, they're going to do what they got to do to, and there's a community around them that really do care. So we're 100% on your side, and wish you the best, and we're here to help, listen, and talk to at any time of any type of adversity. And we get a lot of them phone calls, not necessarily, with detailers that are just struggling every day. Like, my business is slow. My business is this. I don't know what to do next. And I know you get a lot of them calls too, where,
Oh yeah.
seems like every day it's talking to somebody for an hour, hour and a half. And never once is it one of them, do I ever think like, why am I on this phone call? Because my heart hurts for them, individuals, because you know I've been there. We've all,
Yeah.
and we just want to see people succeed. So
Yeah, let's talk about that. Well, actually, we're going to jump on a comment here. Billy Smith, leaning on others for help to solve the problem has been big for my business. We all need to learn to become problem solvers, tackle the problem head on, and have a few solutions. Spot on. Spot on. Lean on each other. Lean
yeah,
on each other. Um, we have a network of people for a reason, and if you don't reach out to them, then you can't say that that you've exhausted all efforts. Here's another thing that I see happening, and it's very common amongst business owners, is everybody has an idea, and ideas are a dime a dozen. And I have ideas come to me on a daily basis. Ideas mean nothing without action.
that's right.
Mean nothing. Anytime I get a phone call of somebody tell me I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, my next question is, why haven't you already? Why are you telling me instead of doing it? Call and tell me I did this or I did that and I got this result. And I promise you, I'll be much more engaged with that conversation. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe you should try this, or have you thought about that?
Mhm.
But I get people all the time to say, man, I'm gonna call this company and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Let me know when that happens.
Yeah,
Don't call me back till you make the phone call. And then
right.
call me back and tell me that they hung up in your face, or call me back and they told you to get out of the building or whatever. And I'm gonna tell you, go see 100 more just like that.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah,
action is everything. Ideas, dude. I mean, I hear ideas every day to the point where it makes me sick. I
yeah,
don't want to hear ideas. I want to hear action.
yeah, yeah. No, ideas are a brainstorm that we're going to write down, right? And
Yes, yes.
we create that list, and then we go out and do the action.
Mm,
And a
yeah.
good example of that is our IGL agents. Like,
Uh-huh.
we get a lot of individuals that come through the class that think they're gonna, they have ideas, and
Mhm.
and then maybe they don't go through with that same idea, and then we have other installers that they'll knock on 100 doors, and then
Yep.
next, they land a DoD job. It's like, wow,
Right.
like, it took time, it took a lot of no's, it took a lot of doors slammed in their face, but all of a sudden now you're landing a DoD or a railroad job or whatever it may be. So it's very, very important for you, that to get over that mindset of, I've been told no a couple of times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know?
No's are just like ideas. They're a dime a dozen. And no, I heard the saying. I don't even remember where I heard it, but This is awesome. It says no doesn't mean no, it means not right now.
Yeah.
So keep asking.
Right.
Keep asking. And let me tell you something about action and ideas. Generally speaking, when you act on an idea, you may not get the result that you anticipated, but you will get something out of that.
Yeah.
That customer may say, you know what, that's not good for me, but have you checked with Bob down the road? He's got this, blah, 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 and he may need this. And then boom, you're off on a lead. Okay. Like that's like just doing something puts you in place for something to happen. All
Yeah.
right. Action, like it's a law there. Every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So
Right.
when you move, regardless if you land where you thought you would, you're gonna have momentum. You're gonna create momentum.
You're creating contacts, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think about like a salesperson, not necessarily
Hmm.
just sales in general in the US. Like, doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Not all sales, but like sales are one of, if you apply yourself, it's one of the most high paid jobs. It's commission based,
Hmm.
right? But if you look at a true salesperson, you'll know if they keep reacting to the no's just by looking at their sales go up, because they will keep
Hmm.
knocking doors, knocking doors, knocking doors, making connections, networking, and pretty soon, before you know it, their sales are through the roof. And it's they've deserved it, but they've applied themselves, and they've almost become numb to, no, it's not going to happen. And that's what we have to do with our adversity that we're faced with, is we have to have that no mindset. Like, no, this is not going to stop me. No, this is not going to destroy my business. No, this is not going to do this. I'm going to, level up, and I'm going to work towards my main goal in life, whatever that may be, or business. So
Yeah, exactly. Here we go, Joe Kimball. No stands for next opportunity. I've never heard that. Like that is perfect.
that's awesome.
That is perfect. Let me tell you something. The worst thing that you can do is tell me no. That's the worst thing that you can do. Chelsea, no is a trigger word for that. There you go. They people. All right. So like, if I'm in a meeting and I'll ask our team, hey, and I'll preface it with it. If I'm asking because I really care, if I'm asking because I'm essentially telling, um, I'm like, okay, this guy's, you can give me honest feedback. This is crazy. Let me know. If you tell me no, I'm finding a way, bro. I'm like, I'm on fire for that shit. Like, I'm like, oh, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it even bigger and better than I said to begin with.
That's how I
No
got
for me
that's
is
that's how I got you to buy half of IGL with me. I said,
you
no, we
yeah,
can't.
yeah. Oh, really? Watch this. No is an absolute trigger word for me, but you know what? It should be for you too. Don't, and like, you hate to say, like, oh man, you just do this and you just do that, because it's not that easy. Because there's a reason that no came at you. That customer may not be interested. That thing may not be meant. Like, I can't tell you. I mean, the banks that have told me no over the years. I mean, like, you know what? I don't listen to that. I said, oh no, no, it's gonna happen. Yeah, Mike's been on a phone call. I don't, dude. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't like that. But anyways, that's an adversities there. Challenges are there every day. We're all facing them right now. If you're in the detailing industry right now, I mean, there's a good percentage of us that are struggling to sell on a daily basis at the rate we were selling at 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we are in a time of adversity, but just know that the work, if you put in the work, the true work, the results will be there. Focus on your customer relationships, focus on what makes you great and what makes you stand out from, little Johnny that's, running around undercutting prices and stuff like that. And, what makes you different, what makes your shop different, what makes your crew different, your person different, like what differentiates you from the next guy, and hyper focus on that.
Yeah, and I know that we're maybe getting a little off subject by saying this, but it's a good point. As
Mhm.
far as when you're talking about this, it kind of reminds me of the class we had this last weekend, when we're talking about what separates your business from the next, or what can you do to separate your business. And a lot of that
Mhm.
is the personal relationships with your customers, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so, and that is a way, I guess we're not off subject. It's a way of overcoming this adversity that you're going through. Pivot a little bit. Before we were so busy, we maybe didn't take every phone call. We didn't return every call because it's sad that some detail shops, and I'm guilty, has gotten to the point where we were so busy that if a job called that you really didn't want and you had a message, you're like, just maybe not call that one back.
Yep.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And now you're starting to see why it's important, no matter what, to give that call back, because some of these people are calling your competition. And this is your chance to talk to them directly and tell you what separates you from them, and whether it's the products you're using, the service you're providing, or just that one-on-one relationship that you can give them.
Absolutely. Our we won't get deep into this. Maybe we'll save it for next week. But we're in a major transformation, and at EZN, we are in a major transition from a number-centric company to a customer, or to a relationship, to a people-centric company. And I'm going to go deep dive into this at a class at Mobile Tech, and I've been preaching this for months now, going, there is a major flaw in business right now, and the word that is creating this flaw is called scale. Scale, it sounds real good to business coaches, to people that are trying to take your money, but into accountants, because everything's associated to a number. If I do more X, then I get Y. The problem with that is there's no name in that formula.
Right.
X's and Y's are just numbers. Numbers don't pay the bills. People pay the bills.
Right.
We were a number-centric company by design. EZN was number-centric. That means we hyper-focused on numbers. If we do more X, we get Y. If we do more marketing, we get more sales. If we do more quality, we get more results. Like, it was what it was, right? And those were measured by numbers. They were hyper-focused on numbers, and you take the people out of the equation. And when you do that, you lose a relationship. The one thing, when you and I bought this company, we put together a group of people, and the first question we asked was, why did you choose IGL years ago? We put together the best installers, right? And the number one answer was because of the family that Joel and Jeff had built. And you guys, not to take anything away from y'all, the family that was built, the family atmosphere, the relationships. They didn't say shit about ceramic coating. They didn't say shit about ship times. They didn't say shit about inventory on the shelves. They said the family. I mean, it played a factor to family. That you can't measure that on a KPI sheet. You just can't. And so I think we all have a lot of looking in to do to create that environment. You and I in this company and our detailers. I mean, it comes natural to us because we are people. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I'm a numbers guy too. So I'm having to fight that urge to just hyper focus on it.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
Awesome. Brendan Lambert, good morning, boys. What's up, brother? Good morning. Good morning.
Brendan's
a few comments here.
One of our ambassadors. What Billy is.
Yes, he is.
Here.
Yeah, Billy. There's a few of them in here. Jaden Embry. I think he dropped in a minute ago. Andre. Good morning.
Andre's giving us shout outs. I appreciate this, dude.
Thank you. There it is. I thought I saw Jaden pop up. IGL Products to tell me, grow my business to no other company will provide this much value or customer service. Great friend of ours. Always love to see him at the gym with us early in the morning at trainings and all. He's a great dude. He's also an ambassador.
Yeah. Something that I really like, we have a good range of installers. I really like watching these young installers. I think there's Erica and I had a good talk yesterday. But it's I think that's part of our family thing is, I don't know, I feel like the old dad, the old grandpa, and even though there's older people than me, but I've been in the industry for a while and you have too. Mm-hmm. I love seeing these 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds just succeed. Like it's because guys, to get off subject a little bit, I was talking to Chris DiGiovanni one day and he said, you would not believe the number of it's like 26 or 27-year-olds and under that are doing $50,000 a month out of their shops.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it spoke to me like, wow, like these kids know how to, I shouldn't call them kids, but these young men and women, they know how to run a shop. Like they've I would hope that they've seen some of our mistakes that we've done and that we've maybe helped them all, the older generation in the industry, but they're go-getters. I don't want to ever take anything away from that young generation.
Yeah, and anytime I've ever done a presentation or spoke to people, it's not like look at what all I know. It's like here's what I've done, here's what worked, here's what didn't.
Yeah.
Take the shit that didn't, don't do that, and then double down on the shit that did.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let like don't solve problems that have already been solved.
Right.
Reach out to people and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing." Don't do direct mail. Shit's expensive and you won't get no business from it. I'm gonna save you some money. Today you have an action item. Don't do direct mail. It's expensive. And I think we just did another one for something. I know we brought it up and I'm like, absolutely not. But like there's things
in my garbage. There's Anthony. He's another young one.
Oh, he's awesome. Taking action with ages quickly after the class this weekend. Have a truck bed, gas tank, and a couple of HVAC units.
That's
Family and friends are great to build a portfolio. Shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
That's action. That is action, action, action. How many people have told us that they were going to that they were going to do this or do that, and then you never hear from them again. That is action. Hats off to you, Anthony. He went for a couple of good runs with us while we were at training.
It almost sounds like to me that we should probably order him a barrel of ages. That sounds like that's what he wants, maybe, huh?
Let's go. On the way.
Now,
on the way.
Anthony took us to Brazilian steakhouse this weekend.
I haven't eaten since we left. That was 4 days ago.
So it was some good stuff.
Jordan Lee, coffee and coatings. Do you drink your coatings in your coffee? Is that the mixture? I mean, is it 50-50?
And what's the preferred coating that we put in?
Yeah. No, Mike's got a new water bottle that he's coming up with. You want to disclose your new water bottle? I only have a couple more minutes, by the way. So
we want to disclose what it's going to be.
No, let's hold it. That'll be our big surprise.
Ed Buse. Yes.
Good morning, both. Agile Street Manufacturer, the team at HQ, and especially R&D. It's incredible. Keong is a genius. Wow, nice. You know what? You're absolutely right.
We have Keong to see some of his research and development, and it's true research and development. It's not just put it in a bottle and let's sell it. It is some research and development. And Ed, we're looking forward to seeing you at SEMA. I'm sure we'll see you there. So thanks for joining in.
Absolutely. Jordan Lee. I prefer Elixir at a 1 to 5. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
In your coffee.
That'll wake you up. There's Keon. Thanks for the kind words, Ed. Well, those words are much deserved. I mean, Keon's team is amazing, and to tell you, it's cool to to work with them and to see how they solve problems and always looking for solutions. Mike, you're more in tune with the product side of things, and anytime I see a problem, some you ask a question, like so quick to respond, so quick to not just say, well, that's just because it is. Like that, you get real answers, and it's a really cool team to work with.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and we look forward to hanging out with Keong and his team at SEMA. It's gonna be a fun time. So Keong has some good things to unveil at SEMA. So if you're going to SEMA, make sure you stop by the booth.
That's right. Well, Mike, I've got to jump off. I've had a great time talking to you about adversity. I am down in Gulf Shores setting up for an event, but again, like hearts and prayers go out to the people a little bit further south than us. You hate to say we dodged a bullet, being on the coast and all that, because anytime we say that, that means somebody else is getting the wrath. And I would love nothing more for that hurricane to just die right where it's at and not get on anybody. But our hearts and prayers and thoughts are with you guys, and of course our our home here in Mobile is open to any of you guys that might need a place to evacuate to. I'm not just saying that. We have a few extra bedrooms there that you could go crash in, air up. We'll do float mattresses, we do whatever. So
That's right.
anybody that needs a little help there, we're here for you.
Yeah. And 30 more days. Yeah.
30 more days. Golly, they don't even sound right.
Well, Young, it's
All
not 30 more days. We're going to see in about 25 or so.
Yes, exactly. Set up. Okay. I've got to jump, Mike. Always love talking to you, brother. Let's keep this baby rolling.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
See ya.